Hey guys, sorry I have not been uploading for a while. I had school, it's been stressful, but thankfully since I'm at Thanksgiving break, I'll try I'll try to upload this video like before I go back to school, like after Thanksgiving break. But for now, let's get right into the video on this tier list of me like ranking all of the Trails of Battleground characters. And just so you know, once again, this is based on my opinion. So if you get mad easily, I recommend leaving the video with no hate, because I do not want anyone in the comments or in any of my videos be toxic, unless if it's gonna be good for content. But for now, let's get right into the video. So let's start with the D tier, which is like the lowest tier. So on the D tier, we have Koichi. Just before Koichi mains get mad at me for putting him on the lowest spot, let me explain. So, I'm not saying he's bad. He's still usable. It's just he has a lot of negativities. And there are like, some of his movesets are just close range. Like before his awakening. Like, his movesets are like okay. Some of them are just easy to block, and they're like close range and have small hitboxes, and they're slow. And not to mention, the barrage, it's okay, like, when you knock back the player, or your enemy, or your opponent, like, it sets out, like extra damage, which is good, but it's delayed. Like, whenever you, like, turn around, like, the barrage gets delayed. And I don't understand. Unlike the other characters, whenever they do a barrage, they just go at the same time whenever you turn, but Koichi's Echo's X1 barrage, it gets delayed. But the Awakening, it's good. It's just, Freeze is slow. It's just slow, and I don't like it. But, like you have to rely on someone that's a slow thinker. So that's pretty much it. And overall, the other movesets are pretty good. So, as much as I think Koichi's not a good character, he's still usable. I don't know if he's really that good for 2v2s, cause one time I was like in 2v2s with a random player using Koichi, and it didn't went well. So, either he's not skilled with Koichi, or it's true that Koichi isn't that good in the game. But for now, let's continue to the C tier. So on the C tier, we have Vanilla Ice. So, Vanilla Ice is okay, but let me explain for the people that are triggered after putting Vanilla Ice in a C tier, like below the B tier. So, he's good, better than Koichi, but the negativity is that he has too much end lag, which makes a lot of people like have a higher chance of doing a combo to them while they're stuck in end lag. And not to mention, people can easily counter Void Control, because for Void Control, it just like stops you for a moment, and then you have to like chase the person down. But like when you use it, it just stays still for like 2 seconds, and then it actually works, which makes it easy for your enemy to escape it and to run away, which makes you wasted. But the Awakening's good though. Big damage, decent hitboxes, but just like Void Control, there's like a move called Domain, I think, but I could be wrong. But for now, let's go for that name. So the Domain move, like, it's a small hitbox move, and it's not really that great. But the other movesets are fast, which is pretty good. Honestly, should have put in B tier, but due to the end lag, it just makes me put in C tier. Now let's move on to Fugo. Especially, I think Fugo's a good character in the anime. He's not that great in the game. Like, he's okay. He's an okay DLC character like Vanilla Ice. It's just, his poison, like, it's good. It's just, I was expecting him to, like, stun the player and then go away for a moment, but then instead it just does a little bit of damage, and then people could just escape it easily. But not to mention his capsule launcher. Okay, now people are gonna be confused about why I'm bringing up the capsule launcher. So it's good, it's just when you use it, it just goes somewhere else instead of where you actually wanted to go. People might say, oh no, because you're on mobile. Well, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube that are on PC, and when they use capsule launcher, even goes somewhere else instead of where it actually wants to go. So, like, Fugo's okay, and his Awakening is pretty good. What I really like is both his finishers and his normal moveset and Awakening moveset. it's actually good. Like, it can help you get into combos. Like, when you use it, it doesn't like knock back the player, it just stands still. And then you could just do a few M1s and then do a barrage and a poison, and it will be very good. So like, Fugu's decent, it's just, he's okay at the same time. And for Rohan, he's expensive, but he's kinda overrated. Like, his moves are just not that great, he's too close range, most of his moves are like blockable, but his moves are like not that predictable, which is good. It's just his manga hero move, which throws like a few of like those small like metal thing or whatever in the anime, I forgot. But when he throws them, it's just so small that it doesn't like hit the player. You have to like get very close. It's a long range move, but it just has a small hitbox, which makes Rohan bad. And not to mention his rewrite move. Like whenever I keep using him, like even when I'm very close to the player, it doesn't work. Like, I don't get how it doesn't work. But as much as I think Rohan's an overrated character in this game, he's still usable, and I think he's pretty good in 2v2s. Well, probably. But what's good about him is that his awakening. He has a lot of stun moves, which gives you some time to do a few M1s, and then pretty much do a bit of a combo, which is good, but it's still not my type. Anyways, we'll move on to the B tier. So for B tier, we have Dio. So Dio is a good character. His knife throws are like, they're actually pretty decent. You have to get close to do more damage, and they're short cooldowns, which is also good, and does a lot of damage. But the negativity about Dio is that his time stop is slow. So like, it might be big, but it's slow. Like, the animation is slow. You can say the same for Part 3 Jotaro, but unlike Part 3 Jotaro, like, which I'll explain later, for now we're going back to Dio. So Dio, his time stop is okay. It just needs a speed buff. And Sign Smash isn't that good. Like, I still use it, but it's not that great. Like, instead of like stunning the person, it just does damage, and that's it. Like, that's all. Just damage, and then the enemy gets away. But his awakening is brain dead, but I don't put it in A tier because time stop is so slow. But the good thing is that his time stop gets way bigger, which can make it easier to catch players that are like far distance. And you can even start doing a one-shot combo in the time stop, which is good about Dio. Now for Okuyasu. So some of his moves are slow and blockable, but what makes him great is that when you catch someone on the eraser pole, you can start doing a combo with eraser barrage or just normal barrage, and then it will just do some damage. But his awakening is very good, but like I said, most of his moves are still slow and not that great. Like, they're blockable. But overall, he's still a good character. You just need to do perfect timing with this character, that's all. For Jonathan Joestar, what I really like is that he can get out of combos with Scarlet Overdrive, but you sadly need to charge Hamon. But what I really like is that not only his normal movesets, but his awakening movesets. He has Luck and Pluck, which is a good stun move where he can start a combo. But first, just do some M1s, Luck and Pluck, M1s, and then do a move like a Barrage or Sunlight Yellow Overdrive. And then that would take away like 60% of the person's health, which is decent and very powerful, which makes Jonathan Joestar a good character. Now, most people are gonna disagree with me for putting Butcherati in a B tier. Like, I understand, he has small hitboxes, but what makes him great is the uppercut. The uppercut might be blockable, but it's quick and unpredictable. And then his damage is pretty good. And when you hit like your opponent with Zipper Punch, it knocks them back, which gives you some time to like run off. And Nari Beatdown, like, it's okay, it's kinda slow, people can just block it. But when you get to his awakening, it gets better, especially with the zipper. When you put it on the ground, it does a small beatdown. But the negativity is that it sometimes does this glitch where you basically, like, you just fall down off the map and then you respawn. But you basically waste your awakening, so that's the negativity, but overall Butcherati is still a good character. So for Joseph Joestar, so he does some good damage, which makes me think he deserves an A tier, but what I really don't like is that his Tommy gun it's just bullets going around, which isn't that good, because when you're far away, instead of just going straight, it just goes scattering around. But his Clacker Volleys and his Coca-Cola, like, overdrive move, it's really good. I really like it, but his Awakening is way much better. It's just his Stone Asia move is not that great, cause like, when you miss, you basically stay in a pose, and then it gives some time for the enemy to do a combo to you. But, overall, Joseph Joestar is a recommended fun character to use. And what I really like about his Awakening is that he has this counter where it does a lot of damage with the explosion. So that's pretty much good about Joseph Joestar. Now for Diavolo, or Diavolo, sorry. But anyways, so just like Jonathan Joestar, he can get out of combos with a different move, but it's kind of slow. Like, and it gives players like to just stand back and not take any damage. But honestly, it doesn't do any damage, so I don't know what's the point of saying that, but he has a good Epitaph move, which is a counter, and does some good damage, like kinda. But still, it's a good escape move. And some of his movesets are okay. It just requires skill, but his launch strike move does a lot of good damage. And his what's really good about him is that his Call for Boss move gives him a lot of like Awakening. So basically gives him like extended time to like try to get Awakening. And once he uses Awakening, it gets way better. He gets a buff, which is a barrage that like probably takes like almost 25% of your health. But then when you start doing combo, it can probably take away almost your entire health. And Impale does a lot of damage. Like, it can just take away your health, and then you're just pretty much dead. But it only happens when you're like low. Probably takes around like 45% of your health. So that's good about Diavolo. So for Kira, he's a good character. It's just people barely use him because like his Plant Bomb move is slow, and his sheer heart attack is okay. It's just people can just run away from it, which is negativity. But when you catch them with an M1 or a barrage, they get hit by sheer heart attack. But when you get to Kira's Awakening, it gets way better. Most of his moves do a lot of big damage, and Bites the Dust can regain like 30% of your health back, which is also good. And honestly, Kira is worth it. Like, it just requires too much skill, but overall, still worth it. So for Josuke, people say he's not that great, but I think he's good. It's just he's just too balanced of a character that he doesn't do that much damage, but his Awakening does a lot of damage. And what I really like, it kind of has a one-shot combo where if you use the Yo Angela move on someone, they basically turn to rock, and then you can start a combo. And then you can use this punch move where it basically pulls the opponent back to you and stuns them for a bit. You can start another combo, which can possibly kill them, which is good about Josuke. So finally, Wamu. So he's not really like an A tier because like some of his moves are like easy to like dodge, but he does have a good move, which is like, I forgot what it's called. I think it's Divine Sandstorm, which does a lot of damage. Even though it's blockable, it still does some good damage. And when you get to his Awakening, it gets better. But still, some of his moves are like blockable. I mean, not blockable, to dodge. They can be dodged easily. But once you like get the good timing, you could like do a lot of damage to the opponent. So that's something good about Wamu. Finally, we're on the A tier, so we have Caesar Zeppeli. So his movesets are really good. It's just like the only negativity I don't like is his bubble lens in his normal moveset. It's so slow. Like, it's not that slow, it's probably the animation, that's what I mean, but it's just so small that people can easily dodge it. And then like, it's pretty much it for his normal movesets. But his other, like his Awakening movesets are really good. Like, they do a lot of huge damage. And that's pretty much it for Caesar. Like, he's good, it's just the bubble lens are just not that great. Finally, we have Old Joseph from part 3. So he does a lot of good damage, and I think his overdrive move might be a small hitbox, but still does some good damage. But what I really don't like is that his engaging vine and entangle move, like, they might stun the player. It's just they're blockable and like easy to counter. but his awakening is very OP, which makes me put it in an A tier. Now we have Polnareff. So people complained about him having a small hitbox, but I disagree. I think his hitbox are balanced and decent, but what makes him put him on an A tier is his awakening. Sword Leap is a good move. It's like Impale, but it's just Silver Chariot, but it still does some good damage. And Chariot Requiem is a good move, which basically helps you get some good combos and might possibly do a one shot, if possible, if you can count it right, like find perfect timing for it. But he's still like not OP as the S tier characters, but overall he's still a good character for an A tier. Now we have Par 4 Jotaro. So his time stop might be slow, but he does some good damage, which makes him put him on an A tier. But except the thing is, his original movesets are just, most of them are blockable and probably easy to counter. It's just mostly the M1s are like the best part about it. But when you get to his awakening, it gets way better. The Reap Barrage bearing shots are like the good part about it, and his Blitz Strike can like teleport back of your opponent, and also he has a cool beatdown cutscene which takes out like half of the opponent's health, which makes Jotaro go in an A tier. Now we have Cars. So what I really like about this character is that whenever he uses Shining Sabers, not only it's like a barrage, but it can also deflect projectiles, which makes it very useful. And his awakening is pretty broken, but not that broken as the S tier ones, but it's very broken and very recommended to get. Now we have Diobrando from part 1. So most people will put this in an S tier, but I think it's an A tier because due to like the Hinjaku move, it's kind of a small hitbox. Like you gotta like time it right, and like you gotta like do M1s and then do the Hinjaku move. But I think Diobrando is still a good character, or maybe I just don't main him that much, which makes me put it in an A tier, not an S tier. But I'll try using him more, and then I'll see and I'll think about it if I were gonna do a rework on this video. Now we have Stroheim. So I don't explain that much for this character because, well, obviously I don't want this video to be too long, and for Stroheim, his belly gun machine gun, it's good. It's like better than Joseph's Tommy gun, but his UV beam move, it has a end leg which really isn't that good. Like I don't like it that much, but it's still good. And his grenade move is like kind of slow, which makes it easy for a lot of people or your opponent to like dodge it. But if they don't, then I don't know what's going on inside their head. But I sometimes get stuck inside there too. But overall, his awakening is broken, but I put him in A tier because of his normal movesets. Now we have William Sapelli. So I kind of wish I put him in S tier, but like some of his moves are like some of his moves are actually pretty great. It's just they're not like an S tier, you know. Like most of them have like an end leg, some of them are like slow, and like some of them are just like easily can be dodged. Because like every time I use some of the moves, people just block them, or people just like get away from it and just run away from it, which is like the negativity. But for his awakening, it's pretty OP, and I really like it. So like even though this character is not an S tier for me, he's still recommended to get, and not to mention he's very fun to use. Now we have part 3 Jotaro. So this character is broken, but for me, he's an A tier because his normal movesets, they're good. It's just some of them are just like kind of hard to use, especially Starfinger, since it only goes straight. But what I really like is that he can get out of people's time stop, which is very broken of him, and his movesets are like pretty much good. Like they do a lot of damage, but when you get his awakening, it's brain dead, and pretty much it's over for you, because I think he kind of has like a one-shot combo, or just a normal combo that'll just take away almost your entire health. So he's a A tier character. Now finally we're at the S tier. I'll try to end this video quickly because I don't want this video to be too long, like I said. But anyways, we have Avdol. Avdol is pretty broken. I honestly don't explain it, but the negativity about him is that Red Bind is blockable. But overall, that's basically it about Avdol. I don't explain anything else other than that he's very broken. Now we have Gyacho. So there's only one negativity, is that his ice shards are
kind of trash. Like, they're still good, it's just not that great. It's like the other projectiles like Doppio's and Rohan's, but it's not bad though. Like, his other movesets are really broken, and he honestly doesn't even need an awakening at all. Like the creator just went crazy with his awakening. Like, pretty much a huge pay to win. Now we have Narancia, so he's very annoying. Like, every time I find Narancia, like, every, like, a minute or so or less, it just Vola Barrage. Just spam that move, and then pretty much you win. Like, that's all to tell you. And then, unlike Yacho, he doesn't need an awakening, like, for my opinion. He's already broken. We have Speedwagon. I'm not putting him on an S tier just because he's one of the best characters in Part 1, but what I really like about this character, that he has a one-shot combo. Not only in his original, like, movesets, but including his awakening. But like the others, he does not even need an awakening at all. But they just did it because he's the best character. Now we have Kakyoin. He's like Narancia, except, like, it's not better than Narancia, they're pretty much equal. But Tentacle Rapid is okay, it's slow. But other than that, he honestly does not need an awakening at all. Like, please, nerf Kakyoin. His 20-meter radius Emerald Splash is what makes him an S tier. Now, we're almost there. We have Akira Otoishi, or however you pronounce his last name. But, so, basically what makes this character an S tier is that most of his moves are, like, unpredictable, and his awakening is pretty annoying. And also has, like, an auto, like, move where it's like a teleport move, like Sword Leap from Phonograph and Diablo's Impale move. So this is what makes Akira broken. But not only that, I don't need to explain anything else because he's just broken, and I want to end the video already. Finally, we have Mista, and I'm too lazy to explain to him. Mista's Mista, and that's it. We're gonna end the video here, and yeah, that's it.